And I think that's, yeah, it's just moving. I'm just moved by, moved by so much in the book. And I think it is this thing, and maybe back to, how does this world work? The connection between these, the physical world of putting a ship on the boat and the religious world. These two are so, as you say, intimately tied together, authentically, I think, organically tied together. And one other good example of that is that this house, the gods are powerful, but notice, Athena doesn't just come down and kill all the suitors or run them off and say, and she doesn't go directly get Odysseus and just bring him back, whisk him across it. Why doesn't she just go grab him by the collar and, scurry him across the sea and drop him at the house? And then, why doesn't, she already have the suitors dead when he arrives? She could do that. So that's a question about how this world works. And it's a question that plagues all theology. It certainly plagues Christian theology, of the interaction between God and man. How does...
It's like, it's like the ancient Greek polytheistic version of the problem of evil, right? It's like, if these gods, I think it's a harder sell to say the Greek gods are all good, and because they're not, and then they're all powerful. Well, kind of, but they can also fight each other, so that's weird.
Yes,
so it is more complicated than like a Judeo-Christian scheme.
But they're wrestling, right? They're wrestling with the same kind of problem.
No, I think absolutely
kind of interplay.
But they're wrestling with the problems, and I think it's very natural for students in a religion class or reading this to ask what you just asked.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't Athena or Zeus just go fix it? And I think that's a good open-ended thing. Now, the shorthand is because there'd be no poem, but that's not a satisfying answer. I'd be curious over the first several chapters if the poem gives us hints about why the gods wouldn't just control alternate moments of human life. I don't think it's so simple as drama goes away, or like I don't think it's that. I think there's other reasons for that, and one of them might be that the fates are actually more
that's true, which
just
pushes off the question a bit, because you ask, well, why is that the case? But I think it's also seen in, and also, to your point, I don't take it as just there wouldn't be any drama, because I'm taking this as more than just a story. I don't read it as just a story. I read it as a poet actually wrestling with these real questions and representing them. So I think they're real. I think the real problems beneath just dramatizing a story. And for me, one indication from this chapter, and it is that question of why Athena doesn't just fix everything, it echoes out down through the relationships. So Mentor can't fix things either, even though the text says he was left there to protect Odysseus's house. He can't fix them on his own. Halitherses, the wise man, he can't fix them. Cunning Penelope can't fix them. There is something really true, not just poetically true or dramatically true, about the fact that Telemachus has to do it. Telemachus has to do it. It cannot be done for him.
Yeah.
And in fact, if someone did do it for him, it would make it worse, not better. So he has to do it. He has to stand up. When Athena comes and talks to him, he has to stand up. He has to call the meeting. He has to say it. He has to sail. He must act in this world, or it's not a real world. It's just a magic fairyland.
Right.
And this is a real world. And the power, it's so moving because it's true. It's actually true in your life. There are things that you have to do that are your responsibilities. And the people around you who are powerful or wealthy or wise, whatever it is they have, they can only be involved in the ways that they can be involved. At some level, you have to do it. And they can't, they can't just do it over your head. And it's moving to see that, to see that played out.
Yeah.
And then also just a strong reminder of the power of influence in a young person's life, in a person's life to grow and act and lead and do. It's amazing and so essential. So that Telemachus, well, I was just going to